Hi, guys. I don't know how all of you are doing, but I think we are all dealing with some emotional turmoil.
In a shocking turn of events, we have thoughts and feelings.
In a shocking turn of events, things happened and we need to talk about them right now. Um, with that being said, if this is the first episode you've ever watched, don't. Just please stop and go find almost any other episode, at least the first one of this book. Because today we're going to be talking about chapters 73 through 96. Did I get that right? 73 through 96. So, there were 72 chapters before this that you should probably read and understand before you come chat about these with us. Because, again, a lot happened. But we are discussing Sarah J. Maas's Kingdom of Ash, which is the final book, we think, in the Throne of Glass series. And I'm so excited to talk about everything that happened. I think that we had a request from Elena on where we're starting today, which is super random, but obviously is her total favorite plot line in this whole book. Elide and Lorcan. Elena, would you like to just tell us how you feel about them and everything they've done?
I don't know if they're my favorite plot. Like, I feel like there hasn't been a lot happening with them plot-wise, especially in these chapters.
That's fair.
But it just seemed like the least traumatic, like the easiest place to start in terms of
Yes. A nice softball. Let's talk about Elide and Lorcan.
Love them. So glad they love each other.
Oh.
Hated the fade to black, but
the fade to black was surprising. Like, I wonder if there was a scene and then Sarah brought it to her publisher and they were like, so this book is like 1,000 pages too long. Like, you're going to need to cut something. And she was like, oh, okay, fine. I'm going to cut the really nice sex scene between Elide and Lorcan.
All that tension. And then, left us hanging.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, we've kind of said before, there are a lot of couples in this book. And, like, there's also a lot of plot that has nothing to do with the couples in this book. So there's a lot going on. I mean, it's a chunky book, guys. This is a big book. But, like, still, I'm sure that there were parts that needed to be cut. Yeah. And I will say, as there was a part of me that was a little bummed, but there was also a part of me that felt like it was really nice. I will at least come in on that side and say that I feel like the tension building up to the adorable fade to black was great. And I thought that it was just very them in just how gentle and understanding and patient that especially Lorcan has been with her. And I just thought that it was nice for them. Specifically, I liked it.
Yeah, it was nice for them. I still want to read it.
Jamie's like, give me that deleted scene.
He did what? What did he do? I want to know.
He did everything.
Yeah, I
wanted
to see it because it would have been so cute. But I do get that we can't have everything we want. I also loved the fact that he punched Vernon. Like, that scene was super cute to me. Where they were like, oh, look, Vernon has blood on his face. Elide looks down at Lorcan's hand. Well.
Wonder where that came from.
And how mad he was when Aelin wouldn't let him, murder Vernon. His, unending rage about it.
But I think that was really great too. I loved that Elide showed her talons a little more. I love how at first she was like, you can kill him, but just make it quick. Don't make him suffer too much. And then she was like, no, let's just seal him in a room and let whatever happens happen. Yeah.
We know how you feel about off-screen deaths. Is he dead?
I had the thought. I had the thought where there was a line where Elide was like, I have to assume Vernon's dead at this point. I was like, oh shit, is he not dead? I assume he's dead, but also would not be surprised if he just shows up like Erewhon zapped him out of there.
I could see him pulling an end of the book Return of the King scenario where everything else is wrapped up and then Vernon just appears somewhere he shouldn't be because everyone assumed he was gone and isn't.
Yep. Yeah, I could see it. I don't think it's gonna happen. Like, I wouldn't bank on it. I think he just died. Like, I think he just died chained to a chair from starvation and thirst, which is exactly what he deserved, in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed. So I'd say pretty satisfied with his death.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially like after Irene has that really nice moment with a lead where she's like, I can fix your foot. It will be awful, but like I can fix your foot. And I was like, Vernon
Yeah.
deserves everything he's getting. Like to create all of this like torment and awfulness for a lead. Yeah. Sorry, buddy. I don't feel bad.
Hmm.
Also, love that he got thrown out of math for things that like, he was like, I was asking, but I wasn't asking questions.
Yeah. Like, oh, Dorian, getting another win in there. Gotta love it.
Dorian did all the work in these chapters.
He
He did
really
a lot
did.
of work. Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah, maybe not all the work, but at least 85%.
Yeah,
I love it.
he had me on such a roller coaster the whole time he was in Wrath because I was like really, really worried. I didn't know where he was going with this. Like, I think I told Elena this, or maybe to the group. I was like, I think he should probably just stay a mouse while he was infiltrating Morath, and
Yeah, like
then
stay
he
a
gets
mouse,
caught.
bud.
And then he gets caught. Like, I
Yeah,
didn't
he
know he
didn't.
had it in him.
yeah, no. Well, because you don't really see it. Like you see, he mentioned him practicing when he was with the witches, but like it wasn't like an extent. I'm still surprised how much time has passed because they keep saying it's only been a year, and I was like, what? What? It's so much longer.
Yeah. Well, and especially that like his shifting abilities is what he used to trap Maeve in the end. Like it was all very impressive. And honestly, I had no idea. Like I think we said in the episode last week that like, you know, I don't think any of us thought he was actually planning on marrying Maeve or like had like decided to sacrifice himself that way. Like I thought it was pretty clear that Dorian had a plan, but I was like, I have no idea what your plan is, and I'm just hoping it works. And it did. It was
Yeah.
perfect.
I feel like when Aelin has plans, like everyone just undoubtedly is like, that's gonna work, that's gonna check out. Like she's great at making plans. Dorian hasn't had like a track record of making plans and following through on them to that
No.
level. So to see it happen was like chef's kiss.
Yeah, it was very surprising and like a good surprise. I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah, because I got real nervous when Maeve just like showed up and ensnared his mind. I was like, oh no, like how is he gonna get out of this? And I was like, oh, it was part of the plan the whole time.
And then he destroys Morath and he's like, I wasn't just sneaking, I was literally collapsing the foundation of
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, like so many steps ahead, like has definitely been learning from Aelin. I was so
Yeah.
proud.
What's that meme or gif where like they start like they up there's like a bomb behind them and then they're just like walking away from the scene like such
That's it.
badass. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. That's Dorian.
Yeah. Really though. Like gets all three word keys, remembers where the other two were, because I know we were very nervous about that. And
Well,
just
we
in
were
one
also
sentence, he's
worried.
like picked him up.
Yeah, well, because like once he got caught and then he and May started working together, I was worried that she would get a hold of the word keys.
Mm.
I still
Yeah,
can't believe it didn't backfire, just digging a hole and putting two word keys in it and leaving them there.
it really should have, but it somehow didn't. Yeah.
It was all part of Dorian's plan.
Yeah, I have to
Yeah.
say, you all know my favorite line of that whole scene was when he said that only one witch would be his queen, and I was like, "Yeah, buddy, let's go find Manon." Oh, and the
Love
tone,
it.
like, and that's when the tone came down.
And that's when things got sad.
That's when things got bad again. Yeah, I
Oh.
know, Elaine. I know you wanted to start with Elite and Lorcan, but I figured we would start with what I thought was the most crushing part of this whole part. How do we all do? Did anyone
Well,
cry?
usually we build up to the sad things. Like, you don't usually let me start out with this was the most heart-wrenching scene, so I just assumed that wasn't on the table.
You know, it's funny going into this, I was like, we should probably just talk about it, like, right off the bat. Just do, like, in memoriam. Like, we're not going to make anybody wait. Let's just talk about it. But yeah, no, we got some nice stuff in. So now let's talk about the really awful, agonizing part.
A moment of silence for the 13.
We kind of had this sense that it was coming because there was this lack of kind of character development or getting to know the characters that are in the 13 other than Astrid. I think I was most surprised about Astrid. Like, I had a feeling about the other members of the 13, but then Astrid, I think that probably hit the hardest.
Yeah.
I guess, like, there was also Abraxas too, but we can get to that in a bit. But how did you feel about Astrid being the one that kills Grandma Blackbeak?
Love that for her. Like,
Yeah,
when she,
Yeah.
like, takes off her shirt and, like, shows her scars and, like, essentially tackles Grandma Blackbean to the ground before she yields herself.
They
Yeah.
all yielded. Oh, they all did.
Yeah, I think we all kind of envisioned at least like half to 3/4 of the 13 going out, but like I did not anticipate all of them going, and I don't know why, because the minute that Asterin like gut punches Manon and is like, "You have to live, Manon," I was like, "Oh, they're
Yeah.
all going," and I was just like, "Oh God, my heart!" It was hard, but I think
Mhm.
perfect. I think yeah. So for me, like I'm crushed in like I'm crushed for Manon and Abraxas, because like Manon lost her best friend and Abraxas lost his mate, and I'm just like,
Oh my god, I forgot she was his
I
mate.
forgot about that too.
that
Her
was
wyvern.
and like I feel so bad that I didn't feel worse about the 13, but I think it was part of like Asterin was really the only one that had a real like true personality. And
Yeah.
I think I had assumed there was no way she was making it out. There was even like another line or two where they like reiterated like Asterin has lived her life. Like she
Yeah.
loved someone. She like, you know, almost had a baby. Like she sort of like lived her life. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't see her continuing after this. Like, you know, even we joked about her being potentially like co-queen of the wastes, which would have been nice. But
Yeah. I
yeah,
think it was a nice ending for her.
yeah. And that
Disagree.
and that you think she should have made it, Elena?
I meant like in terms in terms of like closure. She and to Brooke's point, like she did live.
And
yeah,
like
but she could have lived longer.
She could have, yeah.
and it was still tragic and hard, like to think that she didn't really get that happy ending. But
Mhm.
I remembered having that feeling when they like once again reiterated that like Asterin has lived this life that Manon really hasn't yet.
Mm-mm.
And the 13, like they all had that moment together where they were like, no, we're gonna fight beside you, like no matter how dangerous it is. And I didn't really get the feeling until Manon's like, oh, they all talked behind my back. And I'm like, oh yeah, they all pre-decided that you're the one that's getting out of this. And I was just like, oh, like the friendship, the love. It was hard to watch, but I hate to admit that like the thing I was the most sad about was Nairine. Like just the when she just like crushed herself into the tower to get Asterin up there. I was like, Abraxas, my boy, like I just need to wrap my arms around you. I am so sorry. Like, ugh.
They all
Yeah,
put their hands on him to like put pressure on his wound.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
I think that's also part of why the 13's whole death like didn't affect me as much, because I was very, very upset when I thought that Abraxas wasn't gonna make it. And when it seemed clear that he was, I was like, oh, okay, anything after this is fair game. And I was like, oh dang, like I made a bet, I made a deal that I didn't know I could keep, but at least Abraxas is alive.
Yeah, I'm glad he's still alive or, holding on at least. But I felt like Astrid's death was was very justified. Same with Petra Blue Blood and her battle with Earthska. Because I didn't know, like, oh god, like how is Manon gonna get out of this? Like, who's gonna come and save her, or what is Manon gonna do? And then Petra comes in, and I was like, oh yes, because of what she did to her Wyvern Keeley. So that was really nice too. I'm glad
That
was
was a
there.
good scene.
Yeah.
It was so good. And I kept waiting for them to show up. Like, I think we talked about that in the last episode too, that everybody kept being like, I wonder where they are. And I was like, they're on their way. Like, just chill. It's fine. I didn't know that would be the exact moment that they'd show up, but I was like, yes, thank you, Petra. Like, we desperately need some help over here.
Even when
Yeah.
the 13 initially came to Terracin, like, that was a really nice surprise because everyone was just like, this is the end. See you guys. Like, this is our goodbyes. We're not going to make it to tomorrow. And the 13 arrives with their army. And that was really, that was really nice. A little hope.
And just,
I
like, yeah, go ahead, Elena.
was just gonna say, I can acknowledge how well-rounded like the 13th deaths were, and that it like made sense for the moment. It was really poignant. I can still wish it didn't happen.
Yeah. I think it was like plot necessary. I just think like a lot of the plot had been building toward it. Especially with them all sacrificing themselves for Manon, like knowing that she is going to be like a driving force for this better world that they're trying to create. And especially like that last scene where Manon and Abraxas go out to like pay their tribute and like everyone comes out with them and they just like leave stones and flowers and gifts, and like Manon does fulfill the prophecy. Like, she has created this bridge between all these peoples to create this peace and this better world where they can all fight as one. And I'm just like, ugh, I'm sad that this is what had to happen, but
It just
Yeah,
shows like how worthy she really is.
yeah, and in the end, the 13 didn't just do it for Manon. Like, if they hadn't made that sacrifice, it would have been everyone in Orinth that would have died. So like them coming to pay their respects was like, it was
yeah,
a good scene.
I still didn't anticipate the yielding either. Like, even as I'm like, you know, you're like reading the scene where they're all charging in and they're all dropping one by one. I still wasn't expecting it when Asterin like did the yielding, and then they all did. And I
Yeah.
was just like, oh my god. Like,
And the flowers are coming.
flowers are coming.
Flowers, yeah.
Yeah. I think it was really well done. Heartbreaking, but very well done.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just
So now
really glad
Manon
that
has
Abraxas
to
is
make it
alive.
through.
Who has to make it
He's
through?
gotta. He's
Manon.
gotta.
Yeah, and I think like selfishly that's what got me through it, was just like Manon is alive, Abraxas is alive, and now Manon can hopefully like be with Dorian and Abraxas, because I think they're both like her mates in different ways. But yeah, I don't know what Manon, what of Dorian Manon is gonna find.
I hope it kind of it will open her eyes to live and accept love and be with Dorian. That's my hope.
I
Yeah.
also think it's noteworthy that when they did the yielding, it was light instead of like the blackness that is the rest of the witches. I don't know. I'm not trying to make any kind of point. I just felt like it's worth mentioning.
No, I think that is important. And I don't know if it's just that, like, in that moment, like, they cleansed the, like, darkness that has, like, come into the witches, that has made it so that, like, the wastes do not produce for them. And it's just like, this was, like, the cleansing that they all needed to be able to move forward.
Or do you think
Until
it's
the
like,
darkness claims us.
do you think it's partially tied to like their reasoning for making the yielding? Like, I feel like traditionally witches have made it out of hate or anger, versus their yielding was completely for love.
It certainly
I don't know.
could be. Yeah. I don't know. Glennis made it sound like the prophecy has been fulfilled. So my thought is that like now the wastes will be like a fruitful place that they can all go back to and make a true home. So I don't know
Yeah,
if
the
it was
prophecy
that
when
or...
iron melts. I didn't like the iron melting part. It seemed very indicative of RIP.
Oh, I just assumed it was the tower. The
Oh, I assumed it was them making the yielding, that because they're,
Maybe.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
It's beautiful.
Either way, it kind of still seems like they're screwed. I don't see how they make it out of this battle.
It does seem bad. I mean, I think that like our other big half of the plot line seems to be making some strides toward helping. Since Aelin and Dorian decided to co-craft the lock again. I don't
Is
know how
that
that's
where
going
we're
to turn out.
moving to?
I feel like we should just talk about, unless there's anything else that's a little less deep that you want to detour to before we get there.
No, we can go there.
I also realized in the last episode we almost didn't talk about Aelin and Rowan at all, and I'm like, we are taking them for granted far too much. I love them.
Oh
I
my god,
love them
all
too.
of their scenes in these chapters.
Yeah.
Rowan is very patient.
Oh my god, so patient. And
How
she
does he
tricks him again.
again?
I was
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean. Like,
girl, we have got some serious splaining to do.
At this point,
there
it's
was
on Rowan. He should have known.
there was even a line that said like Aelin had like nothing else, no other plan, no other like. But yeah, she did.
I don't think that was like a premeditated plan as much as some of her other ones have been.
Mm, yeah, right. I think that's right because like she didn't really even had an inkling of if there was a possibility of it of two people forging the lock until Rowan mentioned it.
Hmm. Yeah, like if Rowan hadn't pushed her into letting Dorian help, I don't think she would have
Yeah.
ever gone to him. And he was so ready to help. He like didn't even
Yes.
question it. I love Dorian.
I think like with this, like my emotions have been a little guarded. Like I mean like with the 13, because I just don't like through all of this, I did not believe that there was an ending where like either Aelin or Dorian didn't make it out of this. So I still don't think that like they're both not going to be able to like move past this, even though we kind of ended at a cliffhanger and didn't really finish the scene.
Yeah.
Which I assume
I'm
everybody else
still
that is
holding
doing this
on to
with us,
hope.
like, yeah. I was gonna say, I assume everybody else who's reading along with us has also just read a little further. Oh no, do we miss Elena?
I think so.
Elena, you hanging up on us?
No, it just like exited.
It was like, no, Dorian Aelin can't die. Yeah, I just think that they're both gonna get through it, and I think it seems like they are. Like, I don't think there's
Yeah.
a I don't know. It seems very much like obviously Dorian is out, and I think Aelin is definitely going to be out too. It just seems like kind of what we suspected, that it's like Aelin's too broken, and now she's not, because I think she doesn't have any powers anymore.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think she'll make it out, but without powers and without immortality. Which I mean, it says like she lost her magic, so I guess that's not really a guess so much as something we seem to know.
I
I don't
think
know.
she'll keep her immortality, but she'll lose her magic. Like the magic that she inherited from Mala. So all that fire power
Oh
she
my
won't
god,
have.
she's gonna have her little bitty water power.
That would be awesome.
That's definitely it.
Yeah, they do keep talking about her little water power, so maybe it's
Uh-huh.
like the lock just took like the big power and like
Mhm.
left the little bitty like healing water behind.
Yeah. What did you guys think about Dorian's dad showing up?
So did we never know his name? Like thinking back, I'm like,
Did
he
you
not
guys
have a
even
name?
think? I think I rolled my eyes when I got to that part. I was just like, wow, that's just so obvious.
Like, was he just always called the King of Adarlan, and we like never knew his
Yeah,
name?
he was always called King of Adarlan or the King,
I feel
Dorian's
like
dad.
I would have to go back and like rewatch all of our episodes, but I feel like there was a moment in like one of the first 3 books where we said something. But I don't remember if it was like I just had the thought or like we texted about it. But I remember at one point thinking or talking about like this guy doesn't have a name. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Just continuing on. I definitely rolled my eyes a little bit too. I was at the point where I was like, okay, I still don't really believe that either Aelin or Dorian die in this situation. But I was like, random King of Adarlan, Deus Ex Machina, I will take it. Like, feel free, my sir, go ahead.
Yeah.
And I was happy that she tied it in a little bit to like, I am nameless. And I was like, all right, we'll go with
Wow.
it.
So yeah. I remember
Really?
being like, I still don't even like when it was like initially introduced that prophecy, like or the saying, the phrase, nameless is my price. I remember thinking like, I don't get it.
Mhm.
What is he trying to accomplish here?
I also don't understand why Erewhon, like just plot wise, would have ever been like, I don't want anyone to know your real name. Like, how is that relevant? How does that help him? Like, why go through this difficult spell? Like, it kind of seems
Yeah.
convenient now.
There's definitely a large part of me that's like, this makes very little sense. I'm not going to look any further into it because I'm happy with the outcome.
Yeah.
Just walk away. Walk away.
That means Dorian and Nayland make it alive, and I won't question it.
Right. Because there's also a part of me that's like, okay, wait a minute. Like, lock thing. Like, you're going to take both of them entirely? Like, that doesn't work. Because, like, I know I'd had the idea that, like, maybe they combine their power and they
Mhm.
each lose, like, half their power. Or they lose all their
Yeah.
power, but they keep their lives. And then it's like, you know, as Dorian and Aelin are both realizing, like, oh, the lock is just going to kill both of us. I was like, that's not, but how? Like, this had better be an extra powerful lock, is all I'm saying. Like, it took a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm interested to see if Dorian is also not going to have his powers anymore.
I was thinking the same thing. Like, what level of power does Dorian still have, if any?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of hope he keeps it though, because I feel like he works so hard to improve it. And he's
Hmm.
come such a long way. Like, I never
I
would have guessed that his power would grow this much. That he would have fire abilities, healing abilities. I thought it was just ice.
mhm.
And now he has like shifting abilities. Like, that's amazing.
I
Yeah.
agree. I feel like Dorian's like worked really, really hard to get his powers to the point where they are, and like kind of like because of that seems to deserve them. Versus Aelin has always just kind of been overpowered. So like her losing her powers, it wouldn't be as like it would be like, oh no, you're a normal person. We like know that you can function really well and like have skills without magic. So like that's just where you're gonna be. Versus like if Dorian loses his magic, I'll be a little sad for him.
Yeah. And Aelin, like, it's not like she would be powerless. She's
Hmm.
still powerful. Like, she has her assassin abilities and things like that. Whereas Dorian is just, he's a king and he has magic.
When Aelin pushed him out, I was like, my heart.
I
I
totally thought
am,
Dorian was planning the bait and switch. Like, the way
yeah.
he, like, hugged Kaol and Aelin's, like, he whispered something. I was like, is this guy trying to, like, get Aelin to not, like, sacrifice herself and he's gonna sacrifice all of himself? And I was like, no, just stay the course, half of each. And then when Aelin pushed him out, I was like, again?
He would have
Good
done. Like,
eye.
given the
Good
chance,
eye.
he definitely would have done that. I think
Yeah.
Aelin's just always one step ahead of where everyone else is.
Yeah, she's really good about that.
I just
All
honestly
of
feel so bad for Rowan. Like, this poor guy. He's like,
Always
why
in
all
the
is
of,
this
dark.
the one that I love?
all of the scenes leading up to them deciding to make the lock were so sad. because you just see how
Very,
upset
yeah.
Rowan's getting, and like how Aelin doesn't really want to do it, but then she's like, let's vote. And then Dorian and Aelin are both arguing with each other, trying to save the other one. And then everyone that loves each of them are like fighting back and forth about which one should be saved.
Yeah.
And then Hussar just doesn't care. She's like, murder both of them.
Hussar's like, do it now.
Still do not like her. She's not my favorite of the
No.
siblings.
If she died, I would not be upset.
Can I just
Yeah.
say also that, like, I'm kind of glad that Dorian has some kind of closure with his dad, because, like, he never got to see that side of him, like his true
Mhm.
self growing up, because he was under the influence of that Valk prince or something. So it's just, I don't know, I thought it was like really nice closure, and it just brought back to me about like how like Gabriel and Adian, and which by the way we still need to talk about, and Kale and his dad, and so that was just like, I thought that was really nice that Dorian could have that.
That was really nice. And I also really appreciated like Kale and Dorian's reunion, and like just seeing how Kale is Dorian's family.
Yeah.
Like how they love each other and were calling each other brothers, and then that Dorian was gonna be an uncle, and like Kale just like never endingly trying to defend Dorian, even when Dorian was prepared to die, Kale trying to like prevent that from happening.
Yeah, and like Kael coming with Dorian. Like
Yeah.
when Aelin was like, do you want Kael to come? And like Dorian had a moment, and then he was like, yeah, like just in case I die, I want him to be there. It's like,
They're
oh,
the
guys.
best friends. I love it. I teared up on their reunion, because like they were both tearing up too.
Yeah, two grown-ass men just crying over each other. It was so great.
Yeah, because it was the first time Dorian had seen Kale walking again, right? Like he hasn't seen Kale since he left.
It's the same thing with like Aelin seeing Kale for the first time and seeing him walking. They both believed that he could walk again.
Yep.
Well, and that he got this huge army. Like no one actually thought Kale was coming back with this army.
You guys remember when we wanted to skip that book?
I take everything bad I've ever said about Kale being toast back, kind of, a little bit.
Elena, but will you ever pronounce his name correctly?
I honestly don't know if I can at this point. Kale?
Kale. It's like Kayall.
Kale.
Nope.
I'm trying. This is me trying.
We see the trying. We appreciate it.
I'm
Kale
doing my
appreciates
best.
it too.
What book is this again? 7 books later, and
and Kale's been in all of them.
Kale. Not spinach, not collard greens. Kale has been in all of them.
Not cool.
Well, I only have so many names I can say wrong left because Grandma Blackbean's dead.
Yeah, Grandma Blackbean is dead.
You know, guys, you know what I learned? I think we were mispronouncing Cashin.
Isn't it caution? Like Caution?
Oh, caution. Yeah, so it's pronounced like caution.
Yeah.
Like cautious.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bad guy is actually Kern. Like a Kern Terrier.
I've always pronounced it Cairn Terrier.
Oh, Karen is Kern?
I think so.
Like K-E-R-N.
Oh my god. Someone please correct us.
I thought it was Cairn. Like the
I
dog.
also thought it was Karen.
When you said that, I thought it was Karen.
Karen!
Where the heck is the dog?
Like, goddamn it, Karen.
Stop
torturing people. What, Elena?
Damn it, Karen.
Oh,
Where is Fleetfoot?
Fleetfoot.
Safe on a farm somewhere. But really.
Probably the same places Kale's mom and brother and Dorian's mom and brother and all the other characters that have just disappeared.
Sam, he's there too.
I still can't believe we haven't seen Holland that much.
I don't care.
You know? I don't know. It's just like one of those things that
Mhm.
like, oh, they're mentioned once, but they're like the sibling of one of the main characters,
Colin
and
actually went to the mainland and is assembling his own army. I know you think he's off doing merchant things, but he's
Yeah.
army.
Also, like Kale's brother, who like grew a backbone, but we'll never see.
Also gathering an army.
Also, everyone's gathering an army. Sam, Fleetfoot, Kale's brother.
Oh my god, an army of dogs just runs in.
where were we again?
We're talking about the lock.
We're talking about the lock. We mentioned fathers.
Mhm.
Oh, we still need to talk about Adian.
Wait, but we're still talking about the lock.
Oh, we're still talking about the lock? I don't
Well,
know. I don't really have any theories about the lock. So that's all
I
me,
don't
guys.
either, but I feel like it's worth noting that they're all in end of year together again, and that's really sad. Not sad. I don't know what it is. It just makes me feel things.
Yeah.
And
It's
it's
like,
the three of them.
it's all well, it's not because Rowan's still there, but
The three of them plus Rowan. Rowan's just like the extra tag along.
Rowan is Aylin's other half, so it makes
Mm.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, it seems like they have a lock, right? It said that it was like fully formed. Seems like Aelin doesn't have any powers. Maybe Dorian still does. But now it's like, okay, now what? Now what do we do with the lock? Like, do we just go like throw it at Erewhon? Like, how does this work?
I was wondering that. Like, are they just like, do you just like click it and then they leave? Like, it just feels like it's gonna be more complicated.
And Maeve's gotta come back too. Like, I wonder how that will come into play too.
I will say about Maeve, there were way too many moments where they tried to make her sympathetic, like with her like trying to seduce Erewhon and like being grossed out about it and being all like, well, I'd be better than him because like I just don't want to go back there and I wouldn't destroy this world. I just want to live in it. But then it's like I have to keep reminding myself like, bitch, you are really evil. Like the things you did to Aelin, like for no reason is that okay. Like
The things she
no.
did to the cadre too, like
Yeah.
even before,
Yes.
in Air of Fire, yeah, everything.
Yeah.
She killed Connell.
Are we
For no
having a
reason.
sidebar?
Yeah, in a sidebar. Are there 6 spider princesses? Is that the number?
Yes.
Plus
Yes.
Maeve equals 7?
Don't talk to me about spider princesses. Yeah, is it 6? I think it might be
Yeah,
6.
I think
I
it
think
might be
it's 6. Plus Maeve
Huh.
would be 7, which is a weird number.
Well, we
That
can
is
talk
a
about
weird
that.
number.
Yeah. I haven't seen that come up in this book before, so it's probably nothing.
I just had that thought.
Also, all the spiders are gonna die anyway, so it doesn't matter, because Dorian's gonna kill them with his still existing ice magic.
Also, when's Irene gonna like heal people? That's gotta come in at some point.
Yeah, especially because they told her about it, and Irene's all like, I can do it. And they're like, no, you're pregnant. And she's like, nah, I can still do it. I'm like, she's gonna still do it. But not die. There's no way that she's dying. It's like I was already sure,
No.
but now that they've told Dorian he's gonna be an uncle, I'm like, it has to happen. Uncle Dorian. Worst and best uncle ever.
No, best uncle. Why would he be the worst uncle?
I don't
Such a bad
believe in
influence.
it in killing babies like on paper, on screen.
No.
Like, I mean, it was different with Astrid because it happened in her past.
Yeah.
But something as like this, like I don't think SJM would do that. So I have high hopes that she's gonna make it.
It would be really badass too if she like played a really big part and was like, see, I can still do it. Yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely gonna. She's got it. Somehow that relates to the lock? Question mark? No, I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, sorry. That's the only thing I wanted to say about the lock is just that they're all in end of year and they're best friends and they're in the BFF club together.
Does Irene imbue the lock with her healing power somehow? Like, I don't know.
Does she also have to give up her power? I swear to God, if one more character has to give up their power.
Yeah, I don't know. Because it was
But
interesting
if
because, like, Irene brought up the whole, like, if my power comes from the god that you're trying to banish, like, will I still have it? I don't know.
yeah, there's still a lot of God stuff happening that like seems like it's gonna play in, but
Yeah. Why can't Maeve give up her powers or something? Why does it have to be Aemon?
well,
Right?
Maeve's powers are like a little bit gone, right? Like Dorian cut them off. Which we love.
Which is really badass. How did he do that? A trap within a trap? What?
Yeah, he just snipped her portal power. Not like there was anywhere for her to go or anything, but, now she can't.
There's
Crazy.
that cool room with all the doors.
There was a cool room with a lot of doors. Yeah, it seems like the plot is leading toward making this a place where, like, the portals don't work anymore, which I'm interested about. And also don't know if that's actually going to happen, but we'll see. A lot of portals.
I'm just trying to follow, you know?
Portals and powers and
What's
traps within
happening?
traps.
Oh
Elena, you
well.
Yeah,
see that? No. Whatever you have to say can't be said.
I know it can't be said. I
Needs
won't
to
say
stay
it.
on the inside. Please stay on the inside.
I will withhold it. Otherwise, Brooke will get mad at me because she'll have to add it.
Exactly. And more editing, it just makes it it takes longer. Yeah. I really don't know where it's going. I have no theories from this point onward.
And we only have one section to figure it out.
We do only have one more section. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm very emotional about this.
Yeah, it's coming to an end, guys.
This has been a long journey.
It really
Yeah. Like almost a year? Maybe like 7 months
For us or for them?
since we started with book 1. Like I think it's been like 7 months.
Yeah, it was over the summer.
Yeah. Crazy.
that is
Um
crazy.
but yeah, we have to talk about Adian and Lysandra.
Yep.
How do you guys feel about them? I feel like Elena, you got a lot of feelings.
Yeah,
Eye
Elena,
roll.
go right. I know that I
Go off.
She's just gonna forgive him. They're just building up for her forgiving him just because he loves her, even though he's loved her the whole time, and now he just said the words. And it's like, bro, you ruined this. If you genuinely loved her, you shouldn't have treated her like that. Like, absolutely not. You do not deserve this. I hate the fact that she's gonna forgive you. Like, if that's what she wants, good for her. Like, whatever Lysandra wants, she's badass and deserves that. But I just don't think he's done enough.
think that's fair. I don't think he's done enough either. It's just so funny. She's still like melts into a little puddle around him, and all he does is wink and just says the right words. But to me, it's just like major red flags. Hello.
The audacity of this man to be like, if I survive, can I kiss you? No! No, you cannot! Excuse you?
Is it just me and Lysander that are melting every time Adian talks? Is it just the two of
Oh, what did Adian do to you, Brooke? Why does he have such a hold on you?
Again, I will say, really and truly, would be okay with her deciding that they are not meant to be together. And I think that you guys are right that he has not done enough. As of, I think I will say, like, as of the last time that he and Lysander talked. And I think that, again, she, like, when he does the whole, like, can I kiss you? She says, like, you survive and we'll talk about it. And it isn't like you survive and yes. It's like you survive and then we'll talk. It's like she's being very like while her heart is still like fluttering and she knows that she has feelings for him, she is still making sure that she's not forgiving him before he is due and that she's still like taking it slowly. So I think that if and when she makes the choice to forgive him, it will be because he deserves it and because she knows that he's worth at least like giving another chance to.
Yeah, for sure. So proud of her for saying we'll talk about it and like turning him down. Like, whatever my queen wants, she can do. The audacity of him asking.
And it might just be because I also keep trying to find like the good in Adian, but I think that he did do a lot of work, especially with Evangeline. Like I think that scene was really really nice and really heartfelt. Like I don't think that he was doing it to like gain brownie points or anything. Like he genuinely was just like, can I talk to her? And like made her feel better and like important and tried to put her at ease. And I think that he is a genuinely good guy that made like a really bad choice, like with all of the stress. And I think too, we see him in a similar situation when he asks if he can kiss her. And instead of him like getting upset and taking it out on her when he is stressed and like is facing what he thinks may be imminent death, he's instead like focusing on, I think, trying to alleviate stress for her, because I don't think that he's being like a playboy or like being gross when he says that. I think he's trying to like, it's like the joking like other characters that we've seen do to try to like keep the stress back. Like I think he's trying to make things better for her in doing that. Like I genuinely do.
Know who else did good with Evangeline in these scenes? Darrow. Does that mean we forgive him?
No.
Absolutely not.
No, that's okay.
Good
That's
point,
fair.
Elena.
That's fair.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but I feel like I have to agree with Elena. Like I feel like I need to see more from him.
Yeah, I think too, like he continues to watch out for her too in the battle scenes that we see afterward. Like he's still like trying to get back onto the battlefield, like doing things that he probably shouldn't to keep himself alive, and like making sure that he puts her first. Like he's checking on her, and like when he sees that something is going wrong with her, he like immediately does something to help. And I think he's showing us that like he wants to put her first.
There was definitely that scene where like he, with unspoken communication, understood what Lysander was trying to communicate by being on the battlefield, as in Morath was going to break through the gates.
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably supposed to be implied as like, look at their connection. I just don't think he deserves it yet.
No. I agree. I think there's got to be something else.
But, and I will give him, like, when he's thinking about Gabriel and how he's like, wow, I wish my dad was here. He'd be great in this situation. I was like, oh, that's cute. Like, I can like you as a person. Like, I don't think you're the worst person. You're trying your best, but you don't necessarily deserve my girl.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I would not have felt great about it if in the moment where Adian was like, can I kiss you? If she had said yes. Like I still feel like it would have been premature. And I think there's got to be something more. But I think like time and time again we keep seeing that like Adian is growing and like realizing that he's been a shit and is trying to be a better person. Like I think he really is trying to like put in that effort.
Yeah, my guy just had a lot of backbone asking to kiss her in general.
But I really genuinely think it's because he loves her and because he wanted to like make that moment between the two of them. I don't think he was really looking for the kiss. I think he was trying to like alleviate some of her fears, like what he was doing with Evangeline, like telling her the silly story about him throwing up and then like shitting his pants. And I think he's doing the same thing for Lysandra. I think he's trying to keep her mind off of it. And he also respects her wishes when she says that she wants to do the whole sea serpent thing out into the river. He like has that thought where he's like, I wish I could have said no, but I couldn't. So he's like letting her do what she wants, even if she's risking herself. And he doesn't want that. He's like letting her make her own choices and like be important.
But if she had been able to shapeshift, he would not have let her turn into a wyvern and take Manon out to the tower.
It was Lysandra that said that she couldn't do that because her power was
depleted.
No, yeah, she said her power was broken, but when Manon brings it up, he immediately goes, no.
Because he loves her, Elena. He doesn't want to see her die.
I don't know. It just like brings back to the point of like why Lysandra is doing this all in the first place. Mm-hmm. Why she was impersonating Aelin. And it just brings back to the fact like he got so mad over it. But like this isn't something new. This is what Aelin would do in this situation. Didn't tell anyone besides Lysandra. Like that's just something that she does. And
When
so
Darrow, oh sorry, Jamie.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say when Darrow pulled her into the room, when Darrow was like, Lysandra, come talk to me. I was like, is he finally gonna acknowledge that she's a real like high lady, like that she is a real lady and deserves to be treated as such? And it wasn't that, but sad.
Yeah. Darrow showed us a little humanity. Still don't love him.
Just a little bit. I don't care about his little past romantic relationship. That doesn't make you a better person.
Nope. Just being nice to the one kid that's there doesn't make you better.
Okay, yeah, you're being nice for the children, but you're still an a-hole.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's gonna be like one more thing that Adian does, and I think that maybe it'll be like ambiguous before the epilogue. Like if they're gonna be together. But I think they're gonna work out. I'm hopeful. People make mistakes.
Yep. Like Kale.
Have they always called Adian Prince? Like, have they always called him Prince Adian?
Like
Yeah.
Yeah, they have. Okay, never mind.
I mean, I think his full title is like Prince Adian Ash River.
Yeah, they've just been calling him Prince a lot, and I'm like, well, if Aelin dies, he becomes king, right? Like, is that what this implication is? I don't love that, but
It would have been if she hadn't married Rowan.
Yeah, because it's the Gallonitis line.
Gallon Ash River. Yeah. Or no, Gallon
No,
Galathinius.
Gallon,
He's the
yeah.
Galathinius side. Yeah, but Gallon is king of that other place.
Yeah.
Not Windhaven.
Gwendolyn. No, not Wendolyn.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. No, so he wouldn't, I mean, unless Rowan also died, he wouldn't benefit. No one else is dying, I think. Probably not. More people have to die.
We still need the Falcon Lysander reunion. We still need another Gabriel and Adian reunion.
R.I.P. Gabriel.
Yeah, who else? What other reunion do we need to see?
I mean, Adian being reunited with Aelin.
Oh, what was it?
Manon
I was just saying Adian and Aelin being reunited too, like him.
Oh yes, we need to see that so that she can put him in his place.
My man.
I mean, like, how dare you treat her like that?
True, Lysandra and Aelin. BFFs.
Yes, for sure.
Kale and Adian can go back to hating each other.
I've got to see Manon and Dorian get together.
Yes, Manon and Dorian is definitely one that I'm looking forward to seeing reunited.
They're still like a week and a half away, right? Like they're not close to being reunited.
I was really surprised how far away they were. Like 2 weeks.
Chances of Aelin opening the portal for said army so they can just like show up in order.
That did come to my mind. Like, you guys have a lock now. Like, why can't you make your own portals?
Or can Dorian? Because he can like copy people's powers that he's come into contact with.
It just feels like they're too far away to be helpful where they currently are.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if it's going to be like the side-by-side plot lines, like basically up until the end. Like, I don't know if Aelin and her group are now going to like go lock up Erewhon while Orinth is fighting. Like, part of me just wonders if maybe Aelin doesn't get to the Battle of Orinth, like if it's just over by the time like they've figured out their part. Because it's like, I think everyone was, I mean, at least I was expecting her to like be the last blast that like ended it all, but she's definitely not now. I don't know. But
I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Was that everyone? Did we talk about everyone? All the things?
I mean, most everyone. We didn't like talk about Fenris, but Fenris didn't really do much this time. Or
Fenris said a really great line that I love.
What was that?
Like something like, would you rather my queen sacrifice herself than your king or something? This is what he said to Kale.
Yeah, yeah, he was ready to throw down, and I
Yeah.
love
Big
that.
snaps.
Yeah,
Right before
I
Rowan and Dorian gave each other the look, they're like, best friend, I see you. I know what you want. We'll talk later.
like, I got you, Rowan. Don't worry. I don't want to live. I'll save your girl. Yeah, it's been a lot. Um, I feel like we've had a lot of like near misses, and I find myself again like with Fenris and like with Abraxas, like people that I thought wouldn't make it out of this series, being like, "Oh, well, we had a near miss, so now they're good, right? Right? Right?"
I'm worried about Abraxas because now that like his mate is gone,
I'm very, very worried about all of them in general. Just sad
He
and
still
scared.
he still might have a chance with the lead.
I think Elite and Lorcan are definites, but
Well, of course.
it would be really great if the epilogue was just like, Abraxas is like everybody's pet and he just like flies over to Paranth to like hang out with Elite and then like comes over to, be with Manon. What are
Or
you saying?
Aruken.
Elena,
it's
what are
not,
you saying?
it's not long enough for that.
What?
The epilogue is not that long.
Stop it.
I don't want to hear about your epilogue peaking. Yeah.
He hasn't met Aruk yet, Aruken. So maybe he'll find a
The
buddy.
that's true. Yeah, maybe he'll like be best friends with Kadara or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel really bad for Abraxas. I'm
Mhm.
not looking forward to the next scene that he's in when he's just like sad wyvern.
We're sad. But I guess like they could be sad together, him and Manon.
He lost his mate. I just feel bad for him.
She lost with the 13.
I want to hug his little wyvern head.
Is it little? I don't know what the size
No.
what the
I would
size
like
sizes
get my
are.
arms all the way around his neck and still would not be able to get all the way around. Just be like, I'm sorry, buddy.
Because like what if like your head is the size of their nose or something like that, you know?
Probably.
Like
Yeah, like
how
my
big are they?
my head is like the size of one nostril, like
Yeah, exactly.
big wyvern. Yeah. I don't know.
Ah,
I'm very emotional about this whole book ending, worried about the characters, and just like can't believe that it's almost done.
yeah.
25, 26 chapters left.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not worried about Aelin and Dorian. I'm just worried about like everyone else. But yeah, come chat with us about everything that's happened so far. Let us know your fears, your hopes, and then finish up the book and we'll all cry together over what I assume will be a lot of emotions. But yeah,
A lot of emotions. I can already feel it.
can
I'm
feel it.
so worried. We've never seen one of her series end before.
No, this
I
is
don't know
No.
what it's
Oh
going
my
to
god,
be
that's
like.
so true.
how does Sarah J. Maas finish a series? We're gonna find out. So come join us next week. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.